Samantha Bee, thank you so much for doing
Hey,
this.
are you kidding? It's a pleasure. I love talking about menopause. I
How much
really
of
do.
your time is taken up talking about menopause
A
these days?
surprisingly large amount. I mean, yeah, it's not my son definitely, who's 16, was like, "Can you please just give me a break and not say the word menopause for one day?" I was
Did it
like,
work?
I'm like, okay, I take that point. You don't necessarily, it's not top of mind for you.
You could just
No.
call it the change.
The change. That's right.
So we are just really, really excited to get to talk with you about all of this. And a lot of your focus on menopause, I guess, recently has been through your show, How to Survive Menopause.
Yes.
I mean, menopause obviously is something that women have been going through for as long as we
Yeah.
lived long enough to reach menopause.
Yeah, I know. I know it's not that long.
So, why do you think it is that even now in 2025, there's
Mhm.
still such hunger? Like, I was on a train and a
Oh,
woman sitting next to me overheard a conversation I was having for a story I was reporting out on a health topic. It was like
yeah,
something kind of random, honestly. And she's like, "Oh, are you a reporter?" And I was like, "Yeah, I cover health." And she's like,
yeah,
"Anything you can do on menopause, I will read it, I will consume it." And I was like,
yes.
"Wow, we had just met."
Yeah. Yes, you are I feel like you're out there and your spider senses are just like you're just like looking for someone to say the word to in life. You're just like, "Let me find an ally in this moment. Let me make eye contact with someone who I think is having a hot flash just like me right now." Like people want to tell their own stories because it's unique to everyone and it's kind of hard to talk about, or it has
Mm.
been.
Yeah. Well, so I'll ask you to talk about it if you don't mind. Can
Sure.
you tell us about your own experience as you were kind
Yeah.
of going through this and how you realized what was going on?
It was a really long road, to be perfectly honest. When I first started to notice like changes in my body, I was probably like 40, like late 40s, 46, 47 ish. And I was starting to do my own show. Full Frontal had just kind of started. And I was under just an immense amounts of stress, no question. And I really started to feel like I was not coping well. Like my body was changing, like I was having physical changes. And I didn't know I actually literally didn't know what was happening. Like I was just like stopped getting my period for a couple of months here and there. My hair started falling out, like in, not, not in a way that felt typical, like big chunks, like falling, like I couldn't wear a black sweater.
Hmm.
It was just hair was cascading down off my head. And really I had like emotional changes. Like I couldn't control my emotion, or I could control them. I could absolutely control my emotions and be fine on the outside, but inside I just was roiling. Like I
Mm.
really was just like it was just an emotional roller coaster. I wasn't really like a hot flash person, but I was like sweating at night, and my good friends are all just like a little younger than me.
Hmm.
So I would just kind of looked around and I was like, it's my job. I'm going crazy for my job.
I mean, those
I'm
all sound like things that could happen when you're just really stressed out.
really stressed out, 100%. And like less than 10 years ago, nobody was talking about menopause. And I mean like zero people. So we're all kind of talking about it now and you can read about it and people are like, yeah, like Oprah's doing a special about it. But 8 years ago, zip, like
Mhm.
zero information, nobody in the conversation. Not cool, very unsexy. Mention it and you are just like a witch crone who lives in a cave. Don't come out. Okay. And this is like, so we're talking less than 10 years ago. So I didn't think, I would never in a million of years have thought, oh, I'm in perimenopause. I didn't know the word. I would not have thought of the concept. Even though I knew that it existed, we never really talked about it in my family. Not that we were ashamed, it just never came up. People went through it. Nobody ever talked about it. That's for damn sure. So I had no idea what was happening. I was like, my very stressful job is making me like randomly want to drive my car into the side of a restaurant. like Like, I'm not going to do it. But I'm so enraged by like these tiny things, like little weird things that would, and I was like, it's me. It's me. It's me. Something's wrong with me. And of course, I was too busy to go talk to anybody else. I was like, I'm working so much and taking care of my family. And I was very careful to kind of like preserve like it was just compartmentalizing. It was just like my brain was the Container Store, and I was just taking all of those feelings and those extreme worries and putting them in a tiny box and like closing the lid of the box, sticking it in my brain, coming home, making dinner, going grocery shopping, being a very normal looking like outside person, but just inside going like, I don't sleep. And I stopped sleeping.
Oh no.
Like one of the things that happens to a lot of people in perimenopause is you just cannot get a night's sleep. And then I developed frozen shoulder. And it was so excruciatingly painful that I thought I would not make it through. I was like, oh, I'll never have the use of my arm again. So it just added to being in constant physical pain, like to the degree that I would see stars. Like sometimes someone would touch my arm accidentally, and I would fall down on my knees. Like I saw like birds were chirping around my head, like in a cartoon. It hurt so much. It was awful. But it's like, when you have like these kind of compounding issues, especially in anyone but a woman, let's be honest. A lot of people give you the advice. They're like, are you drinking enough water? Like, are you eating eggs from stressed out chickens? Like, what are you doing that's causing this? Like, you need to breathe more. And you're like, well, what if it's medical? Like,
yeah.
Could it be something medical? And then finally, I went to my doctor, my gynecologist, who I love, and I really trust her. And I was like, I don't sleep anymore. I don't sleep at all. Like I'm turning into Lady Macbeth. Like I see, like I'm seeing like ghosts going behind the couch. Like doesn't feel okay. And she was like, oh, she was like, how old are you again? And I was like, 47. And she was like, oh, you're in perimenopause. And I was like, there's a word? What do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm like, no, I'm too young for that. I'm too young. I'm only 22. And she was like, oh no, you're not. You're quite old enough. And this is what it is. And this is what's going to happen. And we're going to work through it and you're going to be okay. And I was like, oh, it didn't solve every problem to have a conversation about it, but it helped me so much to just take one step on a path of knowledge. It took probably 2 years to get to that point.
That you actually had a name.
Yeah, where I had
what was happening.
Like a framework, even a framework for something like, oh, you're just depubertizing. Like she was like, remember all the torment you felt? Like remember all of that stuff that you felt, like that turmoil that you felt when you were 15 and you were just like every zit was an operatic tragedy. She was like, that's what that is, but just in the other direction. But the stakes are higher. Now you have a job, you have people, there's people who rely on you. People come to you at your job and there's 25 problems a day that you have to solve in addition to being bouncy and buoyant and doing the work well. And like the stakes are so much higher, but you're in the same emotional opera. Your life is an opera now. Everything is magnified.
So I just turned 40 and like you, I was like, this is way too early to be hearing the words perimenopause. Right. Well, I didn't even know what perimenopause was until recently. What were some of the things that after you realized what you were going through helped?
I would say that the number one thing, and this I do talk about this in the show like very vigorously, is that you have to find a community of people that you can talk to, even if it's just one person. And I don't suggest that we need to have like a coven of great friends around us at all times. It's not that. It's not like we have to just gather in a cave and like sing about it. We just have to be able to say the words. I'm in perimenopause. Oh my God. I can't believe my frozen shoulder is like, I can't even put on my blazer. And then I need somebody to go, I can't even put on my bra. Like I haven't done up my bra, which which I wear every day religiously. I have not done up my bra in a state of comfort and ease since the year 2017.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? It's helpful to me. It's just helpful to me to say that out loud. Makes me feel less insane. I
Mm.
don't know. Like, so I don't know what community doesn't always look the same, but just saying the words out loud and like normalizing it. It's like it's normal. It literally happens to 50% of the population.
Yeah.
Like at various stages of life, but it is going to happen. It's happening. My doctor was literally like, "Did you think you were Jesus dying on the cross for all our sins?" And I was like, "That's not funny." But it was funny. She's funny. And like it's good to make a joke about. It's good to say it out loud. That's
Mhm.
actually the main thing that has helped me. And it was really a journey to get to a place where I could talk about it with total humor as I
Hmm.
can now.
Hmm.
But there was a lot of shame. I felt a tremendous amount of shame about it. Like,
Why?
um, well, you know, we're visual. I'm a television person. Like, I have like normal levels of human vanity, but I just was like, what am I going to do with my hair's all falling out? Like, like it causes you to feel, it caused me, I'm not going to say, you know, it's not true for everyone, but it caused me to feel like, am I just like, is my sexuality over? Am I the same person? My hair used to be like just something so on brand for me that I cared for and cared about, and now it's all falling out in chunks. Like my can't move my body. I can't do exercise in the same like I can't take my body for granted in the same
Mm.
way. I can't take, you know, well, I mean, not to get too graphic, but like you lose a lot of vaginal moisture, and it's very tricky to like figure out how you're going to function in the world. Like I started thinking about my vagina like all the time. I could feel it walking down the street. I was like, I can feel it. Like I've never experienced that before. I was like, why am I so conscious? Why is there a direct thought connection from my brain to my vagina? Like I don't want to think about her. I treasure her. She's great, but she's not working the way that she used to without even thinking about it.
Mm.
So and those things make you, I don't know, for me, it was very hard to talk about those things. It was very,
Mm.
very tricky. I felt it's kind of embarrassing. It's like we go through things. We work in television, we work in entertainment. These are only my experiences, but I can't imagine what it would be like to have a full hot flash in a boardroom
Right.
down on Wall Street, because I
Yeah.
know it wasn't that easy for me in rooms full of like young writers and young TV people. It's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's like a thing when you say it out loud among people who are not experiencing it or have no awareness of it at all. It makes you sound very old to them.
Mm.
They don't
Mm.
have a framework for it because no one was ever talking about it, because it's not seen as part of the natural spectrum of someone's life, which it is. It just is.
How do you react to the social media piece of all of this? Because,
Mhm.
you know, as a 40-year-old Instagram user, I
Sure.
am served a lot of perimenopause
Oh, yeah.
content.
Mhm.
And it's to the extent that I'm like, oh, I'm learning that perimenopause is a thing and it's something I will encounter in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
And do I need a walking vest? Am I consuming, you know, enough
Yes.
protein? Is my face puffy because I have too much cortisol? Do I need to be lifting really heavy weights and not doing any cardio?
Right.
Like, this is the kind of stuff that's constantly coming to us. And I don't know if
Yes.
that's helpful, but like at least the awareness might be.
I think the awareness part is very helpful. What's not helpful to me, I generally don't turn to social media for stuff like that because, well, this is just this is just me, CMB, human woman talking. I don't like to take advice from people who are trying to sell me any type of product ever. So if someone's thoughts or their tips or like their advice comes with a request to try some type of moisturizer for your undercarriage or like a pajama that keeps you cool at night, which is bullshit, and you should be sleeping naked always. Don't even buy. Why are you putting pajamas on at all? Um, if it's related in some way to buying something, then I generally don't have any interest in it. This is just my metric. Like if there's a supplement at the end of this conversation, no. Like I have some very hard and fast rules about like supplements and all of the things that you can use. I think most of them are pretty useless. I don't know. If it's helpful to your brain to do something like that, then that's one thing. But for me, it's not helpful. And so I generally make I have a pretty strict line about it
Yeah.
in my
Well,
in my
actually,
life.
we're having, I'm not sure if we've officially arranged it yet, but Dr. Jen Gunter, I think she might join us for a second part of our episode. So
she's actually, I learned more about menopause from, my own doctor, 100%, absolutely love her. And I would say that Dr. Gunter is my spirit animal.
Do you guys know each
a lot
other?
about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
I did a whole menopause themed episode of my own show, which was kind of like that was right in the really thickest part of it. Like that was the real stickiest part. And we did a full episode about it, and I interviewed her on my show for that. And we've done various events together. I did a book launch with her. Like she's an incredible person to talk to. She really helped me. She really, really helped me.
So you mentioned, having to work through those kinds of feelings of shame.
Mm-hmm.
Did you encounter, as you were thinking, like, I want to do a show about menopause?
Yeah.
It sounds like you had to both break through your own potential hesitations about it. But was there anybody in the industry who was like, that's not for us. We don't want that.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? Oh, of course. Yeah. So it's a live show for a reason. Oh, yeah. Like nobody was like, let's do a show about it. Like, I think it's multiple TV shows. So I know that there is a huge appetite for it. But certainly, oh, yeah, definitely have talked about it as a show and had people say the words, can you just take the word menopause out of it?
What did they want you to call it?
Yeah, like, I don't know. This is what it is. Like, this is what it's about. I don't, it's the way it is. It's the way it is. Like, there's still, listen, as I said earlier, though, we've only been talking about it for a couple of years now. People have a lot of, people are they're like all for it, but we have to wait until all of the kind of like TV executives and book executives start to age into it. They go, yeah, we do need books. Through it. Yeah. We do need information about this.
What do you think it was, like, what broke the dam open on menopause or talking about menopause?
Well, I do think it's like these Gen X women like me who are like, I'll take the hit. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'll say it. Yeah, like I'll say it. Fine. Because we're just used to that. That's the vibe. That's the vibe of our generation, is like, well, let's talk about it forever. Let's talk about it and push out the contours. Let's get very uncomfortable in conversations. And it is a very uncomfortable one to have, for sure.
So you're a mom. You've mentioned you hope when you're 80 that, my generation, hopefully the ones after us, have taken the mantle of what you've done and really removed all the awkwardness of talking about stuff like this. What are you hoping your daughters will experience when they get to this wonderful stage of life?
Well, I hope that they don't have any of the residual shame that I had. Like, that's what I hope for. That's my main hope. I hope that they don't. And I think that they do see their bodies differently. Like, I don't quite know how to describe it, but they are so much more in touch with the reality of their bodies. Like, they have better awareness, very little shame. To my way of thinking, they're proud of themselves. They love their strength. Like, they sit with themselves in a totally different way. And I don't quite know how to characterize it, but I want that to to continue. And I assume that it will, because they just have a totally different understanding of themselves. Like,
Wow.
they don't have any of that like Catholic school growing up in the 70s where people were just like trying to pull down your top in the schoolyard all the time. They would never stand for the things that we completely tolerated. They would never subject themselves to that. Or
Mm.
it's actually kind of remarkable. Like, I don't know if it's just being steeped in social media all the time, or just like they'll have other problems. I'm not saying they won't, but they do understand their bodies differently. So I'm sure that will continue for them. And
Mm.
I think it's good. They see me, we talk about it. So, at least they think I'm a dork. They think I'm a dork. They'll see it differently when they start to go through it. I'll be like, remember when I kept talking about it? And they'll be like, oh yeah. Yeah, we just saw you were an idiot.
Well, I mean, they do sound amazing, and it sounds like they obviously have an awesome mom. So
Oh, thank you.
thank you so much. This was wonderful.
This
And I
was so
think
fun.
everybody will really appreciate getting to hear all this from you. So
Thank you
thanks
so
again.
much. This was a joy.